All right, what up, guys? We are back with our weekly podcast. Austin's going to be here in about 20 minutes, so we're just starting without his gay ass. So, welcome, Justin Marc. He has been on this channel a few times, but he hasn't been on in a while. When was the last time we talked? Like 2 years
I can't
ago?
remember, dude. Yeah, it's probably a couple years ago, man.
It's been a while ago.
Yeah, bro. Thanks for
But
having me.
you're like a really fascinating character because it's no secret that you're 5'3" and Indian, and
Yeah,
you do better than pretty much any other 5'3" Indian guy I know, including 6 foot tall white guys. Uh,
yeah,
let's maybe start off just like kind of explaining your story, but more
sure.
specifically, like I know you started getting to like hosting house parties and you get away through social circle a lot. So can you talk about like how that came to fruition and kind of how you organized that whole thing?
Sure. Well, like most guys, I grew up really shy. I had really bad social anxiety and it was tough. It was really fucking tough. So I was going out practicing cold approach, practicing day game. This is many years ago. It was over a decade ago. And I was just running around trying to meet people, make friends. And eventually what happened was I was actually getting a lot of really good social results with not just men, women. A lot of girls liked me. I had girls that wanted to date me. But my goal wasn't necessarily even to sleep with a lot of women at first. My goal was to just build a amazing friend circle of beautiful women. And then when I want to hook up with a girl, I have them around, you know? And so I started going to these clubs. Keep in mind in Toronto and Canada, where I'm from, the entry for nightclubs is 19 plus. Like, in the States, in Vegas and Miami, it's 21 plus, right?
Mhm.
So I was 17 years old going to these clubs. I had a fake ID. I was like
Mhm.
sneaking these venues. And it was really interesting. I would actually show up to the club the moment the doors open. I was like offering to help them set up. I was inviting all the girls I met in the weeks prior, or girls I met from day game, girls I cold approach at the mall in Toronto's Eden Center. I'd just be inviting all these girls to these parties, right? And it was really interesting because I built a really good relationship with the staff and the management. They just liked me. They liked my young energy and the fact that I was just trying to offer value and add value to what they were doing. And so it just got to a point where like I would just bring a lot of girls. And eventually, when people just show up, even if I wasn't there, they would just get let in for free. I would just have a random chick show up, say my name, I'm with Justin, and they get let in these clubs for free. Now, I've been doing this now for over 10, 11 years. So I learned a really fascinating skill of throwing parties and throwing events. I was also in a fraternity in college. I also had a lot of very interesting friends that I lived with across the world, in Toronto, in Australia, but all over. And we would just always find nice places to live, split the rent, and throw parties. So we were living in a mansion in Brisbane, Australia, throwing house parties there. I have a penthouse here in Toronto over the last few years, throwing a lot of parties here. And I also got really deep in the nightlife industry in my city in Toronto. And I mean, bro, last weekend we brought out over 150 women, right? So, sorry, 150 women per night. So it was like around 300 women per weekend, Friday, Saturday. So it just got to a point where like I call it scaling game, where you can actually scale the amount of women you're actually interacting with, right? So a lot of guys will do the whole mass approach thing. Like a lot of guys that study pickup and learn game and cold approach, to get good, they'll just mass approach women. They'll like go out and do like 100 approaches a day, right? What I like to do is I like to build long-term relationships with pretty girls and then just bring them out and throw these massive parties that have a lot of women there. I'll usually have like 10 guys there and 100 to 200 women. And it makes it a very easy environment where the women are almost like fighting for your attention, right? And so it's just become this whole thing where I have this massive promoter team. We throw really large parties at high-end venues in Toronto, at high-end clubs, or like we'll even do dinners. We'll do like a dinner with like 20 chicks, right? I have a girlfriend who's very attractive. She's 5'11". Keep in mind, guys, I'm like 5'3.5", 5'4", right? So 5'4" stretching it. I'm a short dude. And my girlfriend's bisexual. We pull girls together, taught her game. Last Sunday, we ended up having a fivesome with 4 chicks. So including her, like 3 other girls. So it really is this really cool lifestyle of, yes, using cold approach to meet women, but then not just approaching the girls just to try to get dates with them, but try to keep them in your life, build a soul circle, build social abundance, and just have lots of friends and have cool relationships. So funny enough, Austin was actually just here last week with me in Toronto, and he saw this all happening live. You know what's funny, actually? The fivesome I had with my girlfriend and 3 other girls, like Austin actually helped me set it up. Because like he was on the couch winging me, talking to each of the girls. He kept like joking about having an orgy, and I ended up having a fucking orgy with a bunch of girls, right? So it's pretty crazy when you scale game by doing cool parties, cool events, right?
Wait, let's sorry, we got to deep dive into some of these things.
Sure.
So let's say, hypothetically speaking, that you just moved to a new city. Like, let's say, like we relocate you to Miami,
Yeah.
and you're living in a very nice place, right? Like, let's say you're living with me, whatever. I have a pretty nice place. How would you go about the process of like organizing one of these parties? Like, how would you go about finding these like 100, 200 girls?
So obviously, logically, if you move to a brand new city, you're not going to start like I moved back here during COVID. So I've been back in Toronto for like 4.5 years. So
Mhm.
I've built this up. Like most of the women I met, I just met them on the streets or at the club, right? Or the best way is referrals, meeting girls, they like you, and then they introduce you to their hot friends,
Mhm.
right? But every now and then I'll go travel, right? I did a trip recently to Athens. I was there like 2 weeks ago. Before that, I was in South America for a bit. And South America is one of my favorite places to actually recreate this in because you can very easily use Instagram ads to meet girls and do events with them. So my favorite thing to do is I'll travel to like Medellin, Colombia, Lima, Peru, or like different cities like that. Like I was in Rio de Janeiro about a year and a half ago, and same concept. We would just rent really nice places. I'd travel with a bunch of ballers, so we just split the rent, right? We got an Airbnb for a few days or a week, right? We had this really nice place in Medellin. It was fucking crazy. It was about 2 grand US per night. So for the week, it was like, what was that, like 14K? But I brought a bunch of baller friends of mine, like a bunch of my buddies who do game that are very successful entrepreneurs, so they could all afford it. We just split it, right? So it wasn't that expensive. It was pretty much the same price as an all-inclusive vacation. But what we did is we just ran Tinder boosts and ran Instagram ads. Okay. And that week, it was like fucked, dude. It was actually phenomenal. I'm not trying to brag here, but that was the most women I've ever slept in a week. Like it was my first time in Medellin. It was my first time ever landing in that city. First day, I did 7 girls. I smashed 7 chicks. Right. Then that comes with a learning curve because it's Medellin, right? Bitches trying to drug you. Some girls trying to steal your phone. Like my first girl I fucked, trying to like steal my phone because I just left it out. Right. So like there's a learning curve with it. And I don't recommend most guys do this. We had security, we had like butlers, we were like really watching our backs. No, we it was a really sick place. It was a really, really sick fucking
But I mean,
Airbnb,
more
dude.
like, sure, I take your point. I've been to Medellin, so
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. I know what you're talking about, but most guys, have never been there, right? Like, let's just talk about
Yeah.
like America or Canada. Like,
Okay,
let's,
sure. America, Canada. So the reason I was mentioning Medellin is because there's a low ad cost in a lot of those
yeah,
countries.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
like third world countries, a lower ad
yeah,
cost.
yeah,
So it's very easily replicable and scalable
yeah,
strategy to scale ads and meet chicks. So like,
yeah,
yeah, that one week in Medellin, bro, I probably had like over fucking 200 girls come over, right?
yeah, yeah,
In that week. It's like 10, 15 girls a day. But yeah, logically, if you want to move to another city, like let's say I moved from Toronto to Montreal or to Miami or
yeah,
to New York or to
yeah,
LA,
yeah,
right? You can do the same thing. You can definitely throw parties. It's just you have to go out and meet people. You have to slowly build up your network. And by far, the best way to do that is cold approach, right? If you
Mhm.
just have a cool place to bring girls to, right? And it doesn't have to be your own parties. It can be someone else's parties. Let's say I came to Miami. I didn't know anyone there, but I know Alex from Playing with Fire, and he's going to throw a house party. Well, what I would do is I would spend the week cold approaching chicks. I would spend the week Tinder boosting. Okay. I would spend the week going to Starbucks and grabbing coffee, and I see a cute girl and I approach her, right? And then I invite her to cool things I'm doing. Or I go to nightclubs, meet hot girls, get their Instagrams. Okay. And then at the end of the week, I just post an Instagram story saying, hey, we're doing this party at Alex's house. Who wants to come? I'd also DM all the girls that I've met that week, inviting them to this event. Right. And you could find that typically if you invite 20 girls, one group of girls will show up. So what that means is out of 20 girls that you'll invite to a party, you'll have a 5% conversion rate, but she'll bring 2 or 3 friends. Right. So if you want to fill up a party with 100 plus girls, you probably need to invite maybe 100 girls, maybe 1,000 girls, right? Obviously, the longer you do it and the more consistently you do it, you have your regular girls that come out. So every weekend, I'll send out 300 to 400 DMs to girls that want to come party. I'll send a little WhatsApp broadcast message. My girlfriend has an Instagram with a few hundred girls on it as well. So she'll go through, post some Instagram stories or send some DMs. And I have a whole promoter team as well. So that's another thing I was going to mention. This isn't really applicable to the average guy because most guys wouldn't know how to hire and train club promoters. But hypothetically, that is something you could do. You could just hire young fuck boys to pull girls for you. Okay. I have actually a friend who works in tech. Okay. He actually runs a cryptocurrency hedge fund. Okay. So he's kind of like a nerdy dude. But he's a very social guy. And he wanted to have the same kind of status as a promoter, but he doesn't really have the skills. So recently, what he did is he just hired a bunch of promoters. He just found a bunch of young, confident men that have strong cold approach skills. He got like 5 of them on his team. Okay. And on Saturday night, he brought 38 women to the club I was hosting at, which is a lot. This was his second week working with me. So just by him being in a managerial position, hiring a bunch of promoters, right? They were able to just scour a bunch of really attractive women off the street and invite them into this cool event we're doing, right?
Yeah.
So anyone can do this. I mean, dude, if I were to move to Miami, the first thing I would do is I wouldn't try to start a party right away. I would just go network like a motherfucker. I would just go out, shake hands, meet the right people, meet promoters, and then meet their bosses. Okay. I would go on the streets I'd be in Miami South Beach, making friends with all the promoters that are trying to sell tickets for whatever event. I would be networking with every single fucking promoter I could. Okay. And this brings another point to having a strong Instagram, because all these promoters can check
before
you out.
we get into that,
Instagram.
just one before we get into the whole social media thing. So one question. So you mentioned, like, okay, let's say you're at Starbucks in Miami, right? What is the frame for which you're approaching the girls? Is it like just like friends, let's party frame, or is it like a sexual frame, or somewhere in the middle? Like what's the
It really depends
underlying
on what you want, right? So let's say there's a really attractive girl at a Starbucks and you just want to shoot your shot with her. Okay. You just want to like fucking go for it. Yeah. You can walk up to her.
No, I mean, like you, if you're like let's say like
sure.
let's say
You're
I pay
talking about
like,
me specifically. You're talking
yeah,
about
like let's say I pay $1 million
yeah. Okay. So if the goal is to throw a party,
yeah,
I would just focus on making friends with her.
okay.
Right? And you're going to find something really interesting. Some girls, if you actually hit on them, invite them to a party, they're more likely to come out. Some girls, if you're just friendly with them and you don't hit on them, they're more likely to come out. Yeah. Like I know a lot of influencer girls, and these girls are just so used to getting hit on. Like right now, I have 3 girls in my house right now. One of them, her name's Macy. She's like a kind of famous porn star, right? She's in my room right now. And dude, she gets hit on everywhere we go, right? And she gets tired of it. But if you just build a friendship with the women first, funny enough, I actually met Macy when Austin was visiting Toronto in 2022. And it was the same thing, dude. Like me and her hadn't hooked up until about a year and a half of me knowing her, right? I hooked up with her in like early 2024, right? So the whole point is like you build a friendship with these girls first, and then you're inviting them to these events, because then they actually trust you. They don't feel like you're trying to get anything. It just feels like you're trying to give something. You're trying to give them value, give them a cool experience, right? The beauty of it is, think about this, right? If you meet a hot girl, every guy's trying to fuck her. You're the one guy that's not trying to fuck her, and she trusts you and you build a good relationship with her, dude, she's going to introduce all her hot friends to you. She's going to feel safe with you, knowing that you're going to take care of her and her friends, right? And she's just going to bring tons of beautiful women around you anyway. So you're going to meet more women from that one cold approach. I've had experiences where I cold approach a girl. Maybe I'll sleep with her and I'll sleep with her friend and I'll sleep with that girl's friend too. You know, every girl that you meet, it's not just about the one girl. It's actually further than that, because she has an entire network of beautiful women that open up through you meeting her and bringing her into your life, right? So a huge mistake a lot of guys make is they're too thirsty, or maybe they haven't gone late in a while, or they're just kind of like, desperate. They're in a scarcity mindset. They think I have to fuck this girl right now, rather than why don't we just become friends first, get to know each other, see if I like you and you like me. At the very least, we'll be friends. Now, at the very least, you can just come to the party and hang out and meet some cool people, right? But once you actually get to know them, maybe we'll be friends, maybe you'll be more. Right. So that's kind of the frame when I'm throwing these parties and doing these events. I'm not necessarily trying to run around fucking all these chicks, but what's crazy about it is it creates a funnel where the best, most qualified women who would fit your personality and who you would get along with, you like them, they like you, they end up sticking around you long term. So it is a really effective strategy. You'll have like your core girls that kind of just stick around you. But then you'll also have like an extended social circle of just tons of women that know you. You become like a really popular, cool guy.
Okay. That's pretty dope. So it's like similar to it's like the Dan Bilzerian model, right? Basically.
I guess it's similar. And everyone kind of does things differently, right? I haven't seen too much Dan Bilzerian's material, but from what I understand, like he definitely does parties. I do parties. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's like a billionaire, so I think he does things like a little bit differently, right?
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so what I like to do is I actually, funny enough, don't like doing parties in my house as much anymore. Sometimes I'll do it, right? But the house gets fucked up. The house gets trashed. People are breaking things. Fucking the toilet gets clogged. Like, there's so much things that can go wrong, which is why I like partnering up with high-end nightclubs or high-end venues, high-end restaurants, supper clubs, that kind of stuff. Because those venues always need hot girls anyway. I have 30,000 women on my Instagram account. I also have 4,000 really attractive women on a close friend story, which are all very beautiful women that live in my city, right? So if I post that, hey, I'm doing this cool yacht party, I'll have an incredible amount of women that message me They're essentially inbound leads that want to come out to that party I'm doing that weekend, right? So it's really a great way to kind of leverage connections as well. Because think about this, right? There's a lot of successful guys that own clubs, own restaurants, own yachts, or just own cool things. And they don't have access to women. They're not running around doing day game. They're not running around throwing parties. They're not running around doing cold approach or Tinder boosting. They're too busy running whatever business or venture they run, right? And so the problem is they don't have access to as many women as me or Alex would have access to, because we're dating coaches. This is what we do, right? I'm just constantly out meeting women, constantly out just meeting people, very social guy, right? And so these guys will invite me on their yachts or this party or that party. Like I got invited on a yacht yesterday. I just slept through it. I was just too tired from this past weekend, right? But the benefit is you go on that yacht, you bring 10 girls, there's a lot that opens up. You know, I know you don't want to jump into the social media stuff yet, but
No,
just by documenting. So I give you an example. I posted a video of me on a yacht with a few girls I was seeing. And this video was filmed in summer of 2023. Okay. Right now, this video has over 100 million views on Instagram. Okay. It's 107 million views. Right. So just by doing this, I made myself a massive social media influencer. I have over 2 million followers across all my Instagram accounts. So now think about how the networking that opened up just from that, just from all my different Instagram reach. I did 1.5 billion views in the last 3 months on Instagram, just because I'm able to document the lifestyle, right? Throw it out on like TikTok or Instagram. And dude, it's so scalable. So just from that, I have girls sliding my DMs, girls asking me to come to parties and events. I have all these really successful guys wanting to network with me or invite them to things they're doing or invite me to parties they're doing, right? So you are really going to just be creating a social network from the social media you have, but also from the way you carry yourself in person, right? It's all these fundamentals of social skills, cold approach. Like everywhere I go, I'm just like being friendly and social and trying to add value any way I can to the vibe or whatever's going on. And so then people want you around. I mean, dude, you walk into a venue with 3, 4, 5 hot girls. I mean, guys are going to want you at their table. You walk in a club with 5 hot chicks, just you and 5 hot girls or 10 hot girls. Why wouldn't some dude want you at his table? Like, you're just going to be standing there with hot girls on the dance floor? No, like the guy who's spending a bunch of money in this table and he doesn't have any hot girls there. He's like, well, he's going to want to go make friends with you, right? Or another thing I do, this is really interesting. Like I do this sometimes when I travel. Like if I don't have a table, I'll just walk into a venue, right? And I'll go make friends with a guy that has a table. I'm like, hey man, what's up? I'm Justin. I'm a promoter. I'm a club promoter. I have a bunch of girls here. Can I bring to your table? I'm leaving in 5 minutes. I just want to leave my girls here. Is that okay? Dude, that would be like the equivalent of you walking, like, imagine someone walking up to you, be like, hey, do you want free money? Like, hey, dude, do you want free pussy? Right? So, like, that's one thing I love to do when I don't have a table or a section at a club. I'll just walk into a club, find a dude that has this empty table. He's just there buying drinks alone, make friends with him. Like, hey, man, I got a bunch of girls here. Then I'll just go cold approach girls from the bar area, the dance floor area. Like, hey, girls, what's up? I'm Justin. I'm a promoter here. Right? Dude, just fucking lie. Say I'm a promoter of this club. And then I'll just bring those girls to that table with that contact I just met, right? All of a sudden, you just socially engineered your way into a table. You have liquor access. You have a bunch of hot girls around you. And dude, I do this most nights I go out. I do like any club I go to. I went to a club last night. It was a brand new club that opened in Toronto. Never been there before. Okay. And I just looked around like, who has a table here? Okay. And I saw a table over there. I saw a table over there. I recognized one guy that I met 2 weeks ago on the street. And the guy just so happened to be a club promoter. I was talking to him outside a club. Okay. I got his Instagram. We didn't really talk too much. I was like, hey, man, what's up, bro? I'm with 5 girls here. I was actually with 4 girls. I said it was with 5 girls. I was with my brother and actually, I was with 4 girls. Okay. And that's exactly what I did. I'd never been to this club. I just met this guy 2 weeks ago on the street outside a club. Just got his Instagram because I heard he was a club promoter. And then I just put my girls on that table. Now, it was a boring party. I was super bored. I wasn't a huge fan of the club. So I left shortly after. I even left my girls there. Okay. I left my girls there and I went back home. But the whole point is this is a strategy that works. You just go make friends with guys that have tables. A lot of guys make the mistake of just walking other guys' sections without permission, right? What you want to do is you want to find the guys that are actually orchestrating the parties and connect with them. There's tons of very successful guys that would want women at their events.
Right.
Okay. And all you got to do is go make friends with them. Find the guys that have penthouses and mansions that want to do parties. Because a lot of these guys, they're too busy, right? Like I have friends I have a buddy who's like a full-time crypto trader, like full-time. He makes a lot of money. Okay. He makes hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, right? But the man can barely get any pussy. Like he just struggles. He's a good dude. Dude, he's fucking flexing. He's like one of the stereotypical like internet gurus with the G-Wagons or whatever. Like he's flexing every car, every watch, all the jewelry, flexing money. He's even flexing money that he doesn't have. But this man cannot get women to save his life. Okay.
Right, that's most rich guys.
And so the whole point is go make friends with guys like this. Go find guys like this, right? The problem is a lot of guys also don't have the access to the women because they don't have the skills to actually make friends with women and keep them around. So what you want to actually develop the skill set of is just being a good friend, just being a good dude who's like a good friend to these women. Okay. That is like the number one thing because retention of having women around you, being a guy that women just want to be around is the most important. Okay.
Well, I think
women,
like the hard part about this is like from what I hear and like from what I envision is just at the very beginning is like getting to a point where you can comfortably go up to girls and get their social media or their phone number, and then get enough of them so that you can throw a party and get enough of them to show up so that the party's not lame. That's what I think like a lot of guys.
that it's a tricky situation, man, because that's the other thing too. Let's say you did meet a really attractive woman. You meet a super hot girl, okay? And she's expecting a big event and you oversold it. You're like, yeah, this is gonna be the craziest party.
Right,
All these influencers gonna be there, this and that, whatever, right? And she shows up and the party sucks. Do you think she's gonna come to the next event you do?
right.
Right? If you invited her to a club, let's say you did meet these rich guys and they booked a table and they got bottles, they got this, they got that, right? Next time you invite her to live in Miami to pop bottles with you, she's probably not going to come. Okay. So, yes, the hardest part is getting started. Okay. So, the thing with doing parties and events, it's like you could do everything right, but the party's just a flop and people don't want to show up to the next one. And so you definitely have to make sure that you have the right systems in place or the right people there to make sure the events you do, the container events you do are fun. By the way, they don't just have to be parties, right? I give you guys a list of things I've done. So during lockdowns in like 2020, 2021, in 2020, I was actually staying in a penthouse in Mexico City and I did a Tinder party. I invited 35 girls from Tinder.
Yeah, I think I
to
heard
a party.
about that actually.
It was hilarious. Okay. That day I hooked up with 4 girls in a day. I believe at the time that was the most women I've ever hooked up with in a day, which is crazy. Right. But then it kind of unlocked the thought in my head. I'm like, this is possible. Now I've done 4 girls a day many, many times. So many different parties I've done. Okay. Then I moved back to Toronto. I moved in this penthouse. Actually, first, before I moved here, I was living in this really, really nice, big old house in a place called High Park, nice neighborhood. And we would do illegal house parties there. Right. The Canadian government was very strict. It was very communist, but we would do illegal house parties there. Okay. Then we moved here to this penthouse here. And I did a whole plethora of events. We would do model shoots. I would do like TikTok parties. I would just invite a bunch of like TikTok influencers. Okay. We would invite signed models that are like legit models. We'd have like a whole like runway thing. Like, we had hairstylists style the girls' hair, makeup, like an area where the girls are getting their makeup done, like a giant backdrop, like professional photographers coming in. So we did like photo shoots. Okay. We did more like party style photo shoots that were less formal and more kind of like cocktails and photo shoots. So like we had a bartender serving drinks, serving like fancy cocktails, and they were doing like little photo shoots around like the scenic parts and then a little barbecue on the balcony. We done like barbecue parties. Okay. So there's so many different things you can actually do. Right. I've done like supper club events. So we take girls to dinner and then take them to a party after. Right. We've done proper nightclub events. We've done events with celebrities. So a lot of times we have like a big artist coming to the city. They want a bunch of hot girls there. I'll invite like 100, 200 girls. Like I remember Sway Lee came to Toronto. I invited over 500. Sway Lee, he's a rapper. I think he's from Miami. Yeah, he's you've definitely heard Sway Lee's music, right?
Maybe. I don't really. I'm not really up on the rap.
Fair enough. But yeah, he was definitely a pretty big artist at some point. Okay, and I brought like 500 girls to a nightclub that he was performing at, right? And a year later, I had a party with him in my house, right? So it's really interesting the different types of events you can do, right? Last week, I booked an influencer party. So all the most famous TikTokers in my city booked a table at one of the clubs I was going to be at. And then I brought 150 chicks, right? So there's so many different ways you can do this, right? And the purpose isn't necessarily to get girls. It's not even necessarily get laid, but that is a byproduct of doing so, okay? There's a lot of other benefits that you can get from doing cool parties, such as getting money, making money. Like you could actually make a ton of cash doing parties and events.
From
you can
doing
make
like entry fees, or how do you make money?
There's an incredible amount of ways to monetize it. So I'll give you an example. Just because I have this massive network now, we can do yacht charters. So I have friends that have yacht rental companies. Okay. I refer them clients. I'll get a 15, 20% kickback. It costs about $2,000 to rent a yacht for like 3-4 hours in Toronto.
Yeah.
Okay. So just from the referral, making money. The clubs will actually pay you a hosting fee to be there. Okay. Let's say it's $1,000, $2,000 a night. You can actually negotiate whatever you want, depending on how much value you're bringing, depending on how much money the club's actually making and what kind of budgets they have. Right. So yeah, you can actually make a full, dude, you can make like, I easily make over 10K a month just throwing parties in Toronto.
That's
It's that's like kind of just like a side hustle for me. It's just something I kind of just more so do for fun. I actually mostly just do it for the girls. I mostly do it for the content I get because it helps me scale my business, and also just the networking I get, status you get. It's a lot of fun. You definitely meet an insane amount of hot girls. Like I just meet so many beautiful women that you wouldn't otherwise get to meet from cold approach. Like a lot of these types of women, they might just curve you from cold approach. But when you're the guy with the center table at the club and there's like 100 women literally surrounded in your section, you know, the hottest women, they want to be around the guys that are making things happen. Right. I also have a massive promoter team of like good looking fuck boys, right? All my promoters on my team. I have one of the biggest promoter teams in the city, and all the guys are just really ruthless and just really savage with chicks and just very attractive, good looking guys. Right. So another reason women would want to stick around us. So, you know, we do all these things to keep attractive women around as well.
Let me jump in.
Sure.
So I want to ask this question. So, is there any differences between like your model or method and Michael Sartain's?
It's hard to say. It really is hard to say. I'm not too sure because I haven't like seen a whole lot of his content. I'm sure there's a lot of parallels. I'm sure there's a lot of overlap. I'm sure we both do things very differently because also we live in different cities, right? He lives in Vegas. I live in Toronto. So, you know, every city is going to have its own like culture with the people, but also like its own like nightlife industry culture, right? I do a lot of club stuff right now, but a lot of the principles are the same. Okay. A lot of these underlying principles, absolutely. I'm sure if me and Michael were to sit down and talk about this stuff, a lot of the principles absolutely are the same. Okay. And I doubt, I don't know much about Michael if he does cold approach actively, but I still do a lot of cold approach. Like
He doesn't do cold approach anymore.
Yeah. I still do a lot of cold approach, right? I just see every way of meeting women as a lead generator. There's dating apps to meet women. Okay. There's social media. Like I actually met my girlfriend through a TikTok video. I made a viral TikTok video that was literally, so I broke up with a girlfriend last year. I was with the girl for a year and a half, and you know, single for a few weeks, having fun, doing my thing. And then I met up with a local influencer and I filmed a video about how guys in Toronto are massive fuck boys. Okay. The video did really well on TikTok, got a couple 100,000 views. Then it got a couple 100,000 views on Instagram. And all the comments were from women kind of just fangirling me and dick riding me. And usually, like typically my content is quite the opposite. It's usually like hate comments and jealous haters and this and that. Right. And my girlfriend that I'm dating right now saw that video, followed me on Instagram. I followed her back and invited her to an event. And then she eventually told me that, yeah, she like wanted me. She thought I was attractive. She wanted to be because the other thing too is most of my content is me surrounded with chicks. Okay. So she, in her head, felt competition anxiety, right? What that is called pre-selection. Pre-selection by far is the most potent attraction trigger. Okay. She wanted to be the main girl out of all these girls I flex on my content. And so we started dating shortly after. So it's really interesting how this stuff works. When you are able to use social media alongside having a cool lifestyle, you can absolutely scale your reach and just meet an insane amount of women. So I'm meeting women from social media. I'm meeting women from Instagram. I'm meeting girls from Tinder, Bumble, Hinge. I'm also meeting a lot of women from day game. I'll do day game maybe once or twice a week. Okay. If I don't have a lot of work to do that week or if I have a lot of free time, I'll just go out and hang out with one of my buddies, do day game. Okay. My buddy Charles is a great wingman. He's a young, good looking kid from Montreal. He's not a kid. He's a grown ass man, but he's a savage. His energy is super good, right? We'll just go pull girls from the fucking mall. Okay. We'll go cold approach girls at the mall. I was doing this last week at a boot camp. I was doing this last week, right? We're cold approaching girls at Toronto Zine Center, getting their Instagrams and inviting them out to parties. And the girls were showing up. Okay. And then also we'll just do street game.
Wait, let me jump in with this question.
Sure.
There's a comment that I think is probably something that like a objection a lot of people have. It's like, yeah, you know, you do what you do, right? But I have a full-time job. I don't know how I can do this with a full-time job. What would be your response to that?
Well, that's a great question. It's the equivalent of saying, well, how do I make $1 million if I have a full-time job? How can I start a business if I have a full-time job? Bro, find the time. You're going to find the time with the things that matter to you the most. Okay. My parties are only on Friday, Saturday nights. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I rarely go out. Last night I did go out Sunday, but I went out at midnight and I went for an hour. Okay. Popped into one of my buddy's venues. My buddy owns this bar in Toronto. I popped in, just said, what's up? Hung out there for 30 minutes. I was just literally on my phone during work the entire time. The girls were having drinks. And brought them to this other club. We're there for 30 minutes, and then I left. So I was out for an hour. So you can actually find the time to go out for an hour a night if you choose on a Sunday night, if you choose, right? Again, most people do have full-time 9-to-5 careers. I understand that. You can go out on a Friday night and a Saturday night. Okay, there's nothing stopping you from that. That's just a bullshit excuse you're making, because you can go out on a Friday night or Saturday night, right? You can also come up with an excuse. Well, I'm too tired after work. Well, then have fun not getting laid. I have a buddy that actually has a full-time career. He's one of my students. He became a coach in my company. He goes out every single night for the last 2 years without missing a fucking day. Okay. He has a full-time career. He wakes up at 8 a.m. every day, but he'll come out for 11 p.m. He'll do 30 minutes of cold approach. He'll pop in the club, shake some hands, say what's up to the owners, say what's up to the staff there, say what's up to the girls there, grab a couple girls' Instagrams. He'll come out for 30, 40 minutes, and then he'll just drive home. Then he wakes up for 8 a.m. and he's a fucking software engineer. Okay. So I've seen him do it with his full-time career every day for the last 2 years. His is Michael. He's a savage. Okay. He's out every single night in Toronto. Some nights is only for 50 minutes. Sometimes he'll just do his bare minimum cold approaches in the busy intersection on a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night or a Monday night. Okay. He'll do what he has to do and then he'll go home, but he's just doing it for the momentum. And then the weekend rolls around. He's got all these girls' Instagrams from the week that he met. You know, throughout the week, he's meeting all these chicks. And then he'll just invite them to the parties we're doing on Friday night, Saturday night. Okay. The other thing, too, is you don't have to start your own nightlife hospitality company. You just go partner up with people. Club promoters are always looking for guys that have access to women. Okay. In any city you go to in the fucking world, they're always looking for cool guys that dress well, that are social and charismatic, that are respectful and gentlemanly. If you're the guy that can bring out 10 chicks, why wouldn't the high stats club promoter want you in their table? As long as you're not bringing ugly chicks, as long as you're not bringing little piggies, okay? You know, as long as you're bringing nutritionally disciplined women, why wouldn't you want them? Like, why wouldn't these guys? Like, I'm thinking.
All right, Justin, curveball.
Yeah,
you're hosting a party, and one of the hot chicks that you meet brings a fat girl. What do you do? Do you just like kind of like?
I do this every weekend, man. I do this every. So usually, what I'll do is I'll turn my back to the ugly girl. But it also depends on how attractive the hot girl is and my likelihood of keeping her around or my likelihood of do I want to talk to her. It also depends on
hot girl, super fat girl, like 400.
So the fat girl also, is she a nice person? That actually has that's a huge factor as well. Like, is she a nice person?
When she's not taking stuff from your fridge, she's very nice.
Yeah. So like, I don't mind, you know, as long as she's not disrespectful, right? I feel like as men, like we'll even arguably tolerate disrespect from a super hot chick. But if it's like a fat chick being disrespectful, you know, you're like, you're not taking that. But let's say it's like a group of 8 beautiful women and they have like one chick and she's kind of fat. You're like, all right, whatever, allow it. But is there a group of like 5 fat girls and 1 hot girl? You're just thinking, absolutely
all right,
not.
Here's $20.
Get them out of my table.
There's a Burger King down the street. Have added my treat.
I don't like being the guy to tell these girls to get on my table. So I just get my promoters to do it for me now. Or I get like, I'll just get my girlfriend to do it. I was like, hey babe, can you kick this ugly chick in my booth? You know what I mean? So, yeah, just how it goes. Like, so on Saturday night, I had some influencers pull up. These, they're dudes. Like one dude is an actor on the Umbrella Academy. He's a young guy. He doesn't really party too much. And then his buddy has the biggest podcast in Canada. It's called Jumpers Jump. Massive podcast. And then they were with the girl who has a massive TikTok following. It's like a few million followers. And then there was like some fat chicks in my booth, like dancing on my table. There's no room for my influencer friends to like hang out in this section, right? So I literally just like kind of block them out. Like I just like turn my back to them and keep backing up into them until they kind of like hop out of my section. And then, you know, I just like keep bringing my influencer friends in, you know? So a lot of it, like you don't need to say anything. A lot of it's just body language, right? If you just like ignore the fat chicks, they kind of just go away.
Yeah. I mean, I was mostly kidding with that question, but yeah, fair enough.
It's a real problem I deal with every weekend, man.
Yeah.
You know, the worst is especially when I'm trying to get like some Instagram videos, try to get some like clips of like content with like hot chicks, like me, my girl, my buddy's girlfriend, a couple other hot chicks, some chick I'm trying to pull a threesome with, whatever. Right. And then there's like a fat girl there just blocking the shot. Like, I can't post this video now. God damn it.
Everything.
Cut it out, clip her out.
Here's the wait. There's one more question I want to ask you about this specifically. Oh yeah, it was this. You mentioned like the ratio is like 200 girls and like 10 guys. Do the girls ever complain about that ratio? Because I like that seems like if I was a chick, like I would probably bitch about that. There's like
Yeah.
only 10 guys and there's like
Yeah.
100. That's like kind of pushing things to the limit in my opinion.
Yeah. So the big reason I like doing it at the club as well. So if these women are just out trying to like find dick, try to find a boyfriend, try to find a dude to go home with, there's other guys at the club. Okay. So, I mean, dude, think about this. Friday night, it was a slow night. We brought 120 women, right? Keep in mind, it's peak time in summer, Toronto. We're at one of the highest end nightclubs. And it's also, so clubs in Toronto actually close at 2 a.m. Kind of sucks. But some clubs will get an extended liquor license. They stay open until 4 or 5 in the morning. They serve alcohol till 4 a.m. Right. So the club I'm at on Friday nights is the hottest club. So we're bringing out 120 to 200 women per night on Friday nights there. Okay. There are tons of other guys in the club. Okay. So not every girl is going to, like some girls get annoyed and they just get annoyed and they end up like make out some fucking dude. That's cool. Like she's her own.
No, I mean like
person.
more like in terms of a house party, like that you're having.
Oh, okay. So in terms of house party, what very, very strategic strategy of what I do is I won't just invite a bunch of like game guys. I won't just invite a bunch of guys who are trying to run game with these chicks, but I'll invite a bunch of different interesting people. Like I had a birthday party here at my house. The ratio is maybe like 1-to-1 rather than 10-to-1. Right. But it's also because it was my birthday party. I couldn't exclude all these people I'm friends with. I'm friends with a lot of people. Right. So I was like club owners and influencers and this person and that person, whatever. And like, I'd be an asshole if I just exclude all these dudes just because I want to be in a party full of bitches and get pussy. Right. So it's like a more 1-to-1 ratio. But the cool thing is the girls will have a good time, even as long as your guests are good dudes. Okay. So as long as the guys aren't creepy or thirsty, the girls will have a good time. Right. So in a house party, I'll actually aim for a 5-to-1 ratio of girls to guys. So a typical house party, let's say I invite 100 girls. I'll invite 20 guys, but the guys I'm inviting aren't going to be like game guys. I'll invite like some dude who's like a famous TikToker. Then I'll invite some dude who's a club promoter. Then I'll invite like one of my buddies who's one of my promoters, but he's also studies game formally. He's like my wingman. Then I'll invite my buddy who's a photographer. I'll invite my barber who's just like a cool, funny, goofy dude. Right. Then I'll invite some random motherfucker that is kind of awkward with chicks. Like I actually invite a lot of nerds to my parties, guys that aren't necessarily good with girls, but they're not trying to get these girls. They're not thirsty for chicks. They're not trying to get laid. Right. So now you have a good ratio of like, I'll give you a great example. I'll invite my real estate agent. He's one of my really good friends. He's great with women, but he's never even trying to get them. So he's just a fun, social, charismatic guy. And he boosts the vibe. So he ends up being like a great wingman kind of naturally because he's not necessarily trying to get laid. Right. He has a girlfriend, but he's just a fun, cool dude. He likes to get drunk and be social. Right. So I'll make sure that let's say there's 20 guys there, there's 100 girls, but all the girls are having a great time. Right. And maybe like 10 of the guys are kind of being more social, more aggressive, not aggressive, but more trying to get laid or talk to chicks. Right. That way, every guy that wants to get laid gets laid. Okay. And by balancing that ratio, you're going to definitely have a great time. All the girls are going to have a good time because there's enough guys for the girls there. Yeah. If it was just women, I've actually had parties where it's like me, 2 buddies. There's like 50 girls there, and the girls are like, "What the fuck is this? Like, this is weird. There's no dudes here. We're gonna leave." Right. Another really cool thing is allowing gay guys at your parties. Okay. I don't really know a lot of gay guys, but a lot of girls will bring their gay friends. Okay. So a lot of really attractive girls, they treat their gay friend like one of the girls. And so anytime that a girl brings a gay guy, we just say aloud, or, "Hey, can I bring my friend? He's gay." Yeah, totally. He's welcome to join. Okay. Because those guys will actually wing you. They'll be the best wings. They'll get the girls all hyped up and having fun and just the vibe just is rolling. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I don't have to talk to him. He's going to like kind of do game for me on those chicks. Right.
Do you ever have to kick people out of parties?
Oh, of course, dude. All the fucking time. I actually had to build a whole in-house security team. Like I have like bodyguards I roll with now, especially because like I'm like a well-known guy now. And so it's kind of annoying, but we have a whole security protocol. When I do big house parties, yeah, dude, it costs money, bro. Like we hire third-party security. Like I hired third-party security companies to help me with that.
What's like the craziest thing you've ever had happen, or some of the craziest things where you had to kick someone out?
Dude, like the worst is like I have security cameras all over my house now. I've had dudes like obviously showing up uninvited and like causing issues, like kind of just hood dudes. Like dude saying he's gonna shoot the place up. I'm like, okay, well, fuck, this is awkward. Let's call the police. I've gotten swatted before. Like one time I had this, like my friend Ashley invited some DJ that she's friends with. He invited his brother, who's like some sketchy hood dude. That guy invited like 20 black dudes. right? So eventually I'm like, what the fuck? Who the fuck all these guys? Yo, respectfully, you guys got to get the fuck out of my house in the most respectful way. Please get out of my house, right? And then they called the police saying that there was reports of gunshots in my unit. So then I'm in
But
bed.
not because they're black, because they're dudes, right? Just to clarify that. Right?
These guys literally, no, it's not the fuck. It's because they're random fucking dudes in my house.
Yeah, I got you.
They're random dudes.
I'm just
They're
fucking
random
with you.
dudes in
Yeah,
my
go
house.
ahead,
I don't
go
know
ahead.
you motherfuckers. Get the fuck out of my house.
You're
You know what I'm saying? So I'm in bed at like 6 a.m, right? And police show up to my fucking door, right? And then they're like, we heard reports of gunshots. And I'm literally thinking, holy fuck, did someone get shot in my lobby or something? And they're like, no, from your unit. And dude, I open the door. It's just like me and a bunch of chicks. And like, we're in our PJs. Like, it's the end of the night. We're like eating pizza. And we're like, everyone just looks at the cops like, what the fuck? Right. So that was an interesting one. I've had a lot, dude. So much. I had a girl like steal a painting from my house one time. So just all kinds of dumb shit, like drunk retard people. You know, I've had guys that I tried to kick out, pick up a fire extinguisher, start spraying it, fucking fire trucks had to come. So I've had a lot of issues, dude. My last birthday party, we got over 50 noise complaints. The property man, like there's like a homeowner association that threatened to sue me. So I've had a lot of fucking issues, man, throwing parties. So, you know, I kind of just rather now at that point where I just throw like after parties at my crib rather than like big house parties, you know, just because, you know, the security aspect. I think lots of issues like random dudes being here. I'm like, yo, get the fuck out of my house. You know what I'm saying? So I have like a proper whole, like I have a whole security team and a whole security protocol now. So anytime we're doing parties, like we don't deal with this anymore, but it's because we have a very controlled environment. We don't let parties get out of control like they used to, right? Parties used to get really out of control. Like we'd have like a lineup down my hallway, through the elevator, down the lobby. It's just like, it's fucked up, dude. You know? And to be honest, if you keep throwing parties like that, like if you live in a residential neighborhood, I mean, you can get evicted, you can get sued. Like even if you
that leads me to my next question. How have you not like been kicked out of your building or whatever?
I have a really good relationship with everybody. I have a really good, like, I'm just, I don't know what it is, man. They just like me, I guess. So like the other thing too, like my building is a non-Airbnb building. There's an Airbnb unit next to me, Airbnb unit on the other side of me, Airbnb unit above me. So like, I mean, I can just blame them, blame that guy. It wasn't me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm really good at apologizing. I'm really gonna be like, guys, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That will never happen again. I apologize. You know, I've a good relationship. Like 90% of the time, like 95% of the time, I'm good. You know, I'm also really careful what people invite. You know, I think a lot of people think parties, they think drunk people, drunk girls, people puking, issues and fights. I don't deal with that shit, dude. I'm not inviting problematic people around. I actually keep a very tight-knit circle. My parties are actually very exclusive, extremely exclusive. Okay. Random guys cannot have access to my parties. The only people that get access to my parties are alumni clients of mine because they're essentially trained. They're essentially being taught on how to behave in these events, right? Or just my close friends or guys that I can see, okay, you're adding value to what I do. And then even girls, like we ban girls from our parties. If girls are problematic or if girls cause issues, if girls bring guys that are uninvited, we just block them. Like I have thousands of people blocked on Instagram, right? Like I just block people. I tell them, hey, like you're not invited back, you have to leave, you know, very calm and controlled and collected. I also don't drink. Right. So I've been sober for 7 years now. Okay. I haven't drank since April of 2018.
Do you do anything? Do you smoke weed?
Don't smoke weed.
Completely sober?
I'm sober, dude. I used to really like mushrooms and stuff like that, but I don't do that anymore. Like I'm just completely sober. Like,
have you ever fucked with kava?
I don't even know what that is.
It's a drink that's popular in the South Pacific, but there's like kava shops popping up all over.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it has like all the benefits. This is the best way of explaining it. It has all the benefits of alcohol without any of the downsides.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can still fuck, you can drive, you can function. Doesn't make you aggressive, doesn't make you stupid, but you still get like a really nice buzz. You get like that euphoria you get with alcohol. Whoa. You feel more social. Yeah.
That's crazy. No, I've never heard of this thing, dude.
Yeah. If you ever come to Miami, I'm gonna take you to a kava shop.
Kava. I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really, it originates from the South Pacific. So I discovered it when I went to Fiji. I was there for 10 days or something like that.
I'm gonna look into it. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So like, my one vice is caffeine. I mean, dude.
Yeah.
I can't keep up with these hoes. I can't keep up with these chicks, dude. And like, keep in mind, Toronto's a very like hustle city. Like girls are like fucking doing coke and they're drinking and they're up all night partying. So, I mean, two reasons I actually like doing these parties in the nightlife industry is because I actually have like really bad insomnia. Like I'm just like, I stay up all night. Like I went to bed at 10 a.m. today. Like I just stay awake all night. Like I girls here, like we're partying till 4 or 5 in the morning. I wouldn't even call it partying. We're just here. We're eating food. We're chilling. I was on Omegle There's an app called Omi TV, and like my friend Macy, who's a porn star, is like showing her tits to random dudes in like the Middle East. It was really funny. Like we're just on Omi TV, and there's like dudes in like fucking Tajikistan or like Iraq or like Afghanistan, and like Macy's a porn star. She just loves showing her tits. I was like, hey, are you guys over 18? And I'm like, okay, Macy, show your tits. Right? It's just hilarious seeing the reactions. These guys are just having absolute meltdowns. Never seen a white woman's tits before. I thought it was really funny. And we're just chilling. And then, I'm just on fucking TikTok until 10 a.m. So the big reason I like the nightlife industry is because I'll wake up at fucking 7 p.m. I'll wake up at 8 p.m., go smash a workout. And then I'm like, okay, well, fuck, what do I do the rest of the day? And I can look at some business operations or whatever, or I can go to the fucking club and try to pull a bad bitch. Me and my girl can go to the club and try to pull a threesome. You know what I mean? So, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I mean, I don't go out too often, but if I do, I'll pop in a club for 30, 40 minutes, see what the vibe is. If there's any hot girls, try to pull. If not, go home, get some work done, do whatever. And then Friday, Saturday, I'll just throw big parties and do big events.
Yeah, I feel like you're highly extroverted. That's like probably something that works to your advantage.
Yeah, you know what? It's really interesting. So when I do these big parties, I really feel introverted, bro. I don't want to talk to these girls. I'm like, don't talk to me. Go talk to one of my promoters. Go talk to other girls. I don't want to talk to these chicks. Like, it's kind of stressful, right? And at the end of the night, dude, I'm exhausted. So I definitely, like, if there's an introvert extrovert spectrum, like, I'm probably like, if extroversion over here, I'm probably like halfway here. There's a little bit of introversion in me where it's like, okay, I'm dealing with like 100 plus girls a night. I'm like, leave me the fuck alone. I don't want to talk to you, right? I'll find.
I think there'll
really
be anybody probably at that point.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And yeah, at the end of the night, dude, I'm just like, I feel like physical pain. Like I don't even like, I almost just feel angry and upset. It's weird. Like I go to upset. I go to bed like angry, which is very strange after these big parties. Like I really am at a point, like, I don't know if I even enjoy it anymore. But if we do like a smaller party, like 10, 15 girls, it's always fun. We always end up having like some sort of orgy or something like that. Dude, I want Austin to fucking jump on here because he'll tell you what, I'll shoot him a text. Austin, jump on.
Yeah, he said he was going to be there.
He'll tell you his experience, like being here last week, and he was staying in my guest room for a week. And like at one point, dude, it was really fucked up. Like,
he actually already told, I mean, I didn't say this publicly, but he was messaging in the group chat and he was like sharing some stories. He sent me a video of you guys with a bunch of chicks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, at one point I walked around my room butt naked. Like my brother was drunk and he's like trying to come in my room. My girlfriend's there naked with like 3 other girls. And then I'm like shooting out my brother because I'm like, what are you doing? You're killing the vibe of this orgy. These girls are gonna put their clothes back on. Shut the fuck up. And I see Austin there, my dick's out. And I'm like, what's up, Austin? I'm like, everyone shut the fuck up. And I kicked a couple of the girls out of the room, but it's just chaotic, dude. It's just fun. It's just a fun thing, Yeah.
All right. Let's run through some questions before Austin gets here.
Sure,
what's going on with Whole Math? It seems like he was just a black pillar all along. Are you familiar with Whole Math?
No idea who that is.
Yeah, he's a content creator that became pretty viral in the last 2 years. I've had him on my channel a few times. Seems like a reasonable guy. So there's a post that he made. I'm just going to share the screen for anyone who's not familiar, which has been going super viral for reasons that will become very obvious. So this is the original post that like kind of kicked off like the controversy, so as to speak. It's way too late for me to have a real life. I'm not getting married. I'm not ever having a real relationship. I'm never going to build a house or buy one and make it the way I like it. I don't have the time or energy for any of that. I'm an adolescent until death now. I get no chance to start any sort of life that makes sense. I'm 40, right? I'm not in great health from stress issues stemming from the pandemic, and I can't handle 100% of my own needs, never mind a family. Sure, there's a lot I can contribute to the world, but I'm not going to get much back for it. No matter how much money I get, there isn't much I can do with it. Maybe get a nice place to live or car, but not real life. Now, my speculation, which I'm pretty confident about, is that this is just sarcasm. He's not actually being serious. I actually reached out to him yesterday and asked him. He hasn't responded to me well, but so this is what the person is referring to. But again, like my perspective is that this has to be sarcasm. He just does not seem that defeatist to say anything even remotely like this. But again,
I've never heard of this guy. I've never seen this guy's content. I've never heard who this dude is. But I mean, this type of post, dude, it just sounds like a weak man. He just sounds like someone that doesn't want to do more than he's currently capable of.
Well, I think what he's doing is he's making fun of people who say that kind of stuff. I think that's what he's trying to do, is my guess.
Are you friends with the guy?
Friendly. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, no, again, I've never seen any of his content, but that's just kind of a sad post, dude.
Yeah.
It just looks like a sad post. I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you guys know as soon as he gets back to me. All right. I'm going to a trip to England, possibly France this year. Do you think me being an American will hinder my dating results thanks to the Orange Man? No, I don't think so. I don't think it matters. Your ability to get laid is not affected by whoever is president, liberal, right wing, fucking whoever it is. I don't think it
I
makes
would even argue being an American in a lot of countries is seen as prestigious, especially if you go to like anywhere South America, anywhere Asia. Being seen as an American guy, you just put an American flag in your Tinder bio, and girls want your dick because they want the green card, right? Going
Yeah,
to knock them up.
just not Western Europe right now.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I definitely understand that. Like, definitely, there's a lot of political issues right now, but that's the other thing too. As long as you know game, as long as you have like competent social skills, right? Being an American is one part of who you are, but there's all these other factors.
Yeah. Ask Justin how he met the brunette that he was out with on King Street last week, approximately.
Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. I don't know who you're even talking about, dude. Like on an average week, I hang out with like 200 plus women. So again, I don't know who he's talking about. Right? Maybe this dude saw me cold approaching a girl. Maybe he saw me with a girl. I don't even know who he's referencing.
Okay. Are you still doing blind dates on this channel? I might do one again. I don't know. They're not that fun for me. They're just a pain in the ass to organize. The ROI is pretty poor. It's kind of the same thing over and over again. It's just like everyone making the same set of mistakes. But maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I'll let you guys know if I decide to do one. All right, let's see. What else do we have? Some guy named Carl says he sent you a message on IG.
I literally get over 1,000 messages a day. So sorry if I don't see your message. Like, dude, my Instagram is going super viral. So very difficult to read through.
Justin represents for all the short kings like me. We appreciate your representation.
Yeah, dude. It's such a crazy thing that like it just blows my mind because being short isn't even part of my reality. Like I don't walk around thinking, "Oh, I'm short. Girls won't like me." Like I've never actually thought that. Like I want you guys to understand my mindset when it comes to dating. Ever since I discovered game, it was like a light switch flicked off, like in my head. It's like I was blind and now I see. That's literally how it was. Okay, because before I discovered game and personal development, and oh wow, I can actually improve my dating life. Like I don't just have to be some passive dude and wait for girls to hit on me. I can actually go out there and approach women and date them. Like being short just doesn't come up. And again, my girlfriend's 5'11".
Yeah, my girlfriend's 5 feet tall. I actually prefer much shorter girls. I don't like tall girls.
Yeah, I just prefer girls I connect with, right? So it's not like it was planned that I'm gonna date a girl that was 7 inches taller than me or 8 inches taller than me. It kind of just happened. You know what I mean? But I actually love it now because the past me would have always thought it was a little bit weird. I'd probably want to date a girl like an inch too shorter than me. But then like I'm 5'4". Like most women, like the average female height's like what 5'6" or something like that. So a lot of my exes are taller than me by an inch or two. Right. I've dated a lot of women that are like 5'6", 5'5", 5'7". Right. It wasn't really a big deal. Right. But the girlfriend, again, she's 5'11". Right. And I actually like it now because it's like I have a female bodyguard. If I'm at the club and some girls look at me the wrong way or beefing me or some drunk chicks like in my table, like there was a girl on my table one night. Don't know who she is, right? I'm just there on my phone and I just look at her. I'm like, oh, hi. Because I haven't met her yet, right? And she gives me the finger. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, bitch, you're in my table, right? And I just look at my girl. I'm like, yo, kick this bitch on my table, right? And dude, next thing I know, like my girl was like almost throwing hands on this bitch. She's gonna like knock her out because the girl gave me the finger. It's kind of like having a female bodyguard, so it's kind of nice. I kind of like having like a taller athletic girlfriend. Like she was a volleyball player and a lifeguard and swimmer and she's an athlete. So she'll fuck a bitch up for me because she loves me. I kind of like that.
Here's another question. How do I get invited to a college party? So this person is assumingly in college.
Yeah, that's a great question. So a lot of guys want to be the one getting invited to the parties. You want to figure out who the person is that is throwing the party, build a real, genuine relationship with them, not just like you're trying to get something out of him. Like, hey, bro, I would love to come to your party, and then figure out a way to offer value to him. I'd love to come to your party. I can bring some alcohol. You bring a 48-pack of beer, or you bring a keg. Okay, you just show up with a fucking keg. Go to the liquor store, spend like $100 whatever dollars it costs on a keg, and go bring a keg to his party, or just crash his party. Show up to the party with liquor and bitches. Show up to the party, be like, hey, I brought 10 girls and a keg. Here you go. How are you, buddy? Great to meet you. shake his hand, right? But the best thing to do is communicate. Figure out who's throwing the party, throwing the event, and invite yourself by saying, hey, man, I'd love to come to your party. I'll bring a keg. I'll bring 10 girls. Let me know. Here's my Instagram. Just be a cool dude. Be a good dude that's offering value to the environment, right? Even the mindset of the question, how do I get invited? It's not about you. Okay. The party is not about you. It's not about your needs. They don't know you. You have to offer value to the event. Okay. You have to be someone that's adding value there, and then you'll be invited to every fucking party.
Yeah, when I was in college, a lot of the time I
impression.
would just sneak in through the back door. Like I would just like walk into parties, right? Like, well, it BU, like there was like 4 or 5 streets that were like where there's just always parties. You could tell there's a party going on. There's like a lot of music and people and shit in front of the lawn. I would just go through the back, just walk right in, pretend like I owned the place. Never really had an issue. I mean, maybe once or twice I got kicked out, but most of the time it was not an issue. In addition to having friends,
you just say you're friends with Steve. Just like, oh, Steve invited me. I'm buddies with Steve.
Yeah, I used to do shit like that too. Yeah. Like, like I would do it a little bit more thoroughly than that. So what I would do is, if it was like a frat house, I would learn the name of like a few of the frat guys who lived there, just people who I've never even seen before, just random names that I would just pick up, and I would just name like, Adam, the frat guy, he invited me here. Yeah.
Name dropping is powerful. You guys don't understand how powerful name dropping is, because it's association bias. So it allows you to just get access to places that you wouldn't usually have access to. It's really strategic.
Yeah.
I remember people's names and knowing, knowing people's names and using it in the right circumstances is extremely powerful.
Yeah, I learned that lesson when I was in Vegas for the first time in 2014 or something like that, 2013. And so my friend, who was like kind of like a bullshitter a little bit, he had mentioned to me at some point in time that his uncle owns one of like the biggest clubs in Vegas. I don't remember the names. And so I was like, I knew the name of this person. So I was like, okay, well, so I went to this club and I basically dropped his name. I'm like, hey, listen, like, I'm friends with whatever, let's just say Frank, and they like, the club was full. There was a $60 entry. They let me in, didn't have to pay anything, blah, blah, blah. Later on, when I told my friend the story, he was like, oh, well, he's not really an uncle. He's like a friend of a friend. I've never met him, and he doesn't actually own the club. He's just like a shareholder in the club. I was like, oh shit, well, it fucking worked anyway.
No, it's really powerful, right? Because imagine this. Alex walks up to this club. Hey, yeah, I'm really good friends with Frank. Yeah, he told me to come by. Told me to come check it out. I'm in town for a couple of days, right? They're not going to disrespect Alex. They're thinking, oh, well, Alex is friends with Frank. He's a share of the club. We don't want to disrespect him. He's a partner in our venue, right? And so, I mean, it would make their staff and their whole venue look bad if Alex got rejected from the venue. So they're just going to take care of him.
Yeah. But yeah, that's something that can be implied. You can literally take, like, let's say you go to Vegas. You can go on Google, pick whatever club, find out who the shareholders are, find out who the CEO is. This is all publicly available information. It kind of hit me after that. You could just replicate this with any club. Like, you don't actually need to know someone. Like,
the only downside to that, Alex, is if you were frequent that venue, they might kind of catch you. They're like, wait,
yeah, if you don't know
the owner, what the fuck are you talking about? Right. But yeah, definitely if you're traveling, right? It's super easy.
Yeah. All you gotta do is be confident about it. And that's basically it. Like, you can do that with like any club, whatever, when you're traveling there. But yeah, I agree. Long term, it could eventually
like if you live in the city, like Alex, you live in Miami, right? So imagine you just keep frequenting live and dropping the owner's name. I'm with this dude. I'm with that dude. Eventually they're like, wait, what the fuck? Like, I don't know you.
Does anyone know this guy?
I've seen that actually happen. I've actually seen that happen before. Like, dude tries to walk in, like say owner's name, like, that's me. Like, what? I don't know you. Like, what the fuck?
It works better for like huge clubs where they're like a corporation. It doesn't really work for like small.
I have a really funny story. So I have a really funny story. Well, this is many years ago. It was almost like 10 years ago. I walked into, so I knew the bouncer of like the #1 club in Canada. It's called Rebel. And he was like the bouncer that does VIP. And this guy's like a trained martial artist. He's like a super high level security person. And I just saw him on the street one day outside a random venue. And I was like, hey man, what are you up to? Like, Josh, what are you doing here? And he was actually like doing security for a party with the mayor. So there was an event with the chief of police, the mayor, and the premier of Ontario, the current premier of Ontario. But at the time, he was actually brothers of the mayor, something like that, right? But anyways, it was a long story short, it's a bunch of politicians and a bunch of like chief police and this person, that person. And he just let me in, dude. And dude, it was like open bar. I just wanted the free drinks and free food. So like, we're grabbing snacks and food and drinks and this and that. And there were like a few friends. Like, there were a few of my boys. Keep in mind, like, we were like 20 years old at the time. Okay. And a member of staff, like a security personnel, comes up to us and like, who are you? Like, why are you here? And we're like, oh yeah, we're just here with Uncle Steve. We're like drinking our drinks. I'm here with Uncle Steve. And they're like, who the fuck is Uncle Steve? Right? I'm here. Uncle Steve told us to come by. Right. And we obviously got kicked out. But the whole point is like, just by being super confident and just acting sure of yourself, you can get into random venues that you would never imagine being able to get into. Just but with the same principles, I've snuck backstage at music festivals and different events and this place and that place. It's fascinating what's possible. Like instead of actually building the status, you can fake it till you make it. So you can get into like venues and access to places that you wouldn't usually have access to because you weren't being confident. And a lot of those venues are going to have the hottest women. And you should do cold approach.
Yeah, for sure. Here's a question for you. How do you approach women differently when it's time to invite them to a party rather than go for a close?
I mean, it's a very logical question. If you're doing an event or you're going to a party, you can invite those girls to a party, right? If you want to take her on a date, then you take her out to the date. Okay. So I have a very easy way of differentiating. Okay. So logically, I'll screen the girls. I'll be like, hey, like, do you find me attractive? Right. A little seductive. I just ask them, like, do you think I'm cute? Right. And I'm not saying that right away. Right. This is a girl like I'm talking to, or whatever. We're hanging in person. And I'm kind of feeling the vibe because you kind of always know, like, you know, if a girl likes you or not. You can tell. There's IOIs. There's her body language, the way she looks at you. Is she playing with her hair? Is she flirting with you? You just ask her, like, oh, do you have a boyfriend, by the way? Like, oh, cool. Like, are you like single? Like, are you on the market? Like, what? You just ask all these like statements of intent, right? You can hit on her. You can be like, I think you're cute. Would you like to grab dinner with me? She's like, oh, no, sorry, I have a boyfriend. Oh, okay, cool. No worries. Let's just be friends. We can just be party friends. It's all good, right? It doesn't matter. Like, I don't take it personally. I'm a free from outcome individual. I don't give a fuck, right? And so the difference is you can ask her to dinner instead of inviting her to a party. So if she says yes to dinner, you know she's more down for that one-on-one intimacy rather than just doing like a party or a social event. Okay. And it's funny because most of the time I invite girls to dinner, I don't actually take them to dinner. I just invite them to my house. Like 90% of the time, if I tell a girl, hey, let's go to dinner, right? Let's go to dinner. I tell them to come meet me at my house and I'll just do Uber Eats and we just hang out in my crib. We have some drinks in my crib. Like I have a bar right over here. Like behind the camera, I have a fucking bar here. I have this sick ass balcony. So we can do drinks on the balcony, drinks on the couch, watch a movie, order in sushi, a bunch of restaurants in my area anyway. So if I did want to go to dinner, a bunch of really good restaurants nearby. So they just come to my house, right? So it's all kind of the same vibe. To me, it's just like one giant social experience, right? Then after I fuck her, if I want to take her to the club, I can take her to the club, right? If I want to take her to a party, I can take her to a party, right? It doesn't really matter. I pretty much just merge them all together. If I like a girl, if I'm really into a girl, I'll tell her, like, let's get dinner. And very rarely do I take them to dinner. I almost never take girls to dinner unless it's my girlfriend or a girl I'm actually actively dating.
Yeah, I got you. I'm just making myself more confident. Okay, we have a question for Ma. Alex, I have a lot of respect for your content, but I still don't understand the discrepancy between your online dating pictures and how you look in real life. I mean, what is there not to understand? I look better in my photos than I do in real life. It's as simple as that. I think the heart of the question is like, why? Why? Because that's the point. You should look better in your photos than you do in real life.
I have a really good answer to that question as well.
I've never had an issue with it. Like, there's never been a situation where a girl was like, "Oh, you look so much better in your photos. I'm not gonna fuck you." Like, that stuff doesn't happen. Like, when you meet a girl in person, a lot of it is vibes. Now, look, if I use like fucking photos of James Franco or something like that, if you complete catfish the girl, that will be an issue because she will feel deceived. But if it's just like a better photo of you, most girls get it because they do the same exact shit. So yeah, it's only an issue.
Most girls do it, and you should copy what they do. And the other thing is you want to look at a lot of influencers and celebrities. Don't they like polish and airbrush their pictures, right? Don't they look really good? Like when like Kylie Jenner's on Vogue magazine or whatever the fuck it is, they're not using rinky-dink selfies. They're not taking bathroom selfies or a selfie off their phone. They are taking high quality photos done professionally so they look good. And those photos are airbrushed, edited in Lightroom, edited to stand out and to look polished, okay? To make the individual look good. You should be doing the same thing or you get left behind and you don't stand out from the competition, okay? And most guys, because they don't do this, do not stand out from the competition. So most guys get very average or below average dating results, okay? When you have high quality photos or high quality photographers that take cinematic style photos of you, you are going to stand out from every other guy and you're going to have better results on dating apps, Tinder, on your Instagram. Girls are going to think you're different. They're going to look at you with a different level of respect and attraction. And when they actually meet up with you because you have game, it doesn't really fucking matter, because all that matters is how you make her feel at the end of the day.
Yeah. If you look better in real life than you do in your photos, then you have failed at taking Tinder photos. There's just no other way around it. You should look at least half a point to a point better in photos than you do in real life. That's just the way it is. All right. Brought a girl over my place yesterday after our first date. She took all her clothes off, probably made her come with my hand, but she didn't put out on her stuff. There's the issue. So don't make a girl. I have a rule. I will not, I mean, if it's a repeat, it doesn't matter. But with a new girl, I will not make her come until we're having sex. So sometimes what will happen is like if you make a girl come with like your lips or like your hand, she's good. She busted her nut, and then she's like, oh well, I don't know if I want to get my body count up. So yeah, that's probably the issue. Is like, don't make her come until you're fucking her. Could be other issues too, but
that's really good advice, Alex. But also, keep in mind, some of these women, maybe she just really likes you, doesn't want to be the one stand. Maybe she's scared you're gonna fuck her and then ghost her. Maybe she wants a relationship, and like Alex said, she doesn't want to get her body count up for a random guy that she's just met. Maybe like the fact that she's in your bed naked means she likes you. So just see her another day. Day two her. You should never like be too eager. You don't need to pressure her in any way. You don't need to try to make her feel like she owes you something. Just invite her up. Be like, look, I had a great time with you. Let's hang out again. Let's do it again. Let's see each other again. And a lot of times, I mean, dude, even my girlfriend, I didn't fuck with the first day I met her because it turns out she was a virgin. The first day I met my girlfriend, turns out she was a virgin, right? We did some stuff, right? But I didn't fuck her until the second day I met her, right? So, sometimes it just takes a little bit more time, right? Not every girl is just going to put out the first day you meet her, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that is true. Although I do think you got to be weary of the point of no return, which you can hit with some girls, where it's like you get close to having sex, but you don't have sex, and then they kind of backwards rationalize why they didn't fuck you. It doesn't happen with all girls. It happens with some girls, but it can be pretty brutal. I think
you don't want to hang out with a girl 5 times, 6 times, 7 times. She hasn't put out yet. And you're like, what the fuck? I've taken like 3 dates. We've hung out like 7 times. You met my sister. Like, just not putting out still.
I think like in general, a lot of not every girl's going to fuck on the first date, no matter how good your game is. But a lot of times a girl might fuck you on the first date if you do certain things differently. Like, I don't want to get too deep into LMR on YouTube because that could potentially be misinterpreted. But like one thing I will say is like a powerful technique is I'll just be the therapist. Like I'll be like, hey, listen, like I can tell we're kind of vibing right now, but you seem apprehensive. What's up? Right? Kind of say that in a calm, seductive voice, and then just like figure out what her objection is and reframe it. Like sometimes it's like really silly. Sometimes it's like, oh, it's just that, it's been like 4 days since I shaved down there. And sometimes it's like as simple as that. And you're like, oh, I don't care about that. Or it could be something like, oh, I like you and I want to see you again, and I know if last time I fucked a guy on the first day, he never called me back, and then you just a lot of these things can be reframed, right? So that's also just like a powerful technique that you can use. Okay, here's a question for you. What do you think of other major Canadian? Where the fuck is Austin anyway? Like it's been like an hour. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. What do you think of other major Canadian cities besides Toronto in terms of game nightlife?
Yeah, there's a lot of good cities. I mean, Vancouver's a really good city. So it's a huge city. It's a very rich city. There's a lot of opportunities there. A lot of beautiful women. There's a lot of really hot Asian baddies there too. Montreal is awesome. The nightlife there is really good. Very beautiful women. They're all French Canadian, so it's trippy because the girls are like almost like European vibes, right? But like not quite. You're like, wait, what the fuck? You're from Canada, but you have a French accent, and they're hot. And they
are hot.
Horny.
Yeah.
They are like French Canadian girls are some of the hottest in my opinion.
Yeah,
they're just very, very, very attractive. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really good places, dude. There's a lot of I love living in Toronto because I actually get to meet all the girls that are here on vacation. So I meet girls from Vancouver, I meet girls from Montreal, I meet girls from the East Coast. My brother's dating a girl from the East Coast that he met while she was here on vacation. They've been together for like 2 years. So like, yeah, you meet so many chicks. Like there's just it's a melting pot. We also meet a lot of American chicks. Right now I'm seeing a chick from Michigan. Right. She's like kind of like a side hoe. Like in her mind, I'm her boyfriend. Right. And yeah, I mean, dude, I just met her one night at a club. She was visiting for like spring break or something. And now she's been back like 4 or 5 times to visit me, So yeah, you meet a lot of really attractive women in Toronto, but yeah, there's a lot of really good cities. But again, each city Toronto's like the social capital of Canada. So it's a big city. There's a lot of people here. That's why I love Toronto. That's why I live here. But yeah, there even like Calgary's not bad. There's every city, if you have game, bro, you can get pussy. Like any city you go to, you can actually meet women and have a thriving social life. It doesn't really matter. Some people thrive better in big cities. Some people thrive better in small cities.
What's the best closing tips for brown boys who live at home with bad logistics?
It's a loaded question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, I mean, dude, when I lived at home with my parents, I was tearing up pussy. But the fucked up thing is like, I didn't have a place to pull girls to. So I would usually have to convince girls to take me back to their place, right? And this is something I still do to this day. I would just smash girls in the club bathroom, right? I know this sounds fucked up and like absolutely degenerate, right? And I still do it sometimes. But because like I live in a 2-bedroom penthouse by myself. But when I lived with my parents, I didn't have any other option. I would take girls to public bathrooms. I'd meet girls at the mall for a date. Didn't have a place to fuck them. So this is really weird. But in Toronto, there used to be this weird like sex theater, like porn theater. It was a really strange place where you can just go and pay like $2. Like we have coins called a toonie here. Just put in a toonie and you get access to this like gated area and you go in and it's like a little movie screen. It's almost like a private theater where people go and jerk off and they just show porn. It's almost like a tiny movie theater that shows porn. And I would bring girls there and fuck girls there, right? Where I'd find like, it's so ridiculous. I can't even believe I'm saying this out loud because it's like, well, what the fuck is this life? But that's what I had to do from the time I was like 17 to the time I was 21 years old, right? Before I moved out of my parents' house. And in that time, I'd smash almost 100 women, right? I would hook up with girls in my college campus. I had a place we called the Dungeon. It was like this like random staircase area that no one would go to, right? It was like a fire escape exit, but it was like a nice, clean area I would pull chicks to. I'd always tell girls like I'm on a date at school. Let's grab coffee. I'd kind of hit on the girls, let them know I like them. I'm sexually attracted to them. Obviously, these are girls I've met a bunch of times. I know they like me. And I'd done this so many fucking times where I'd pull girls to the Dungeon and I'd pull girls in this like private area. I don't know how to describe it. It's just like a staircase that no one accesses. And obviously verify consent, make sure they're comfortable every step of the way. And we just ended up fucking the staircase because there was nowhere else to fuck girls in. And then I realized that there was a handicap bathroom in my college and it had a bed in it. It was like a handicap bathroom with a bed in it. So I used to pull girls there and fuck them there. It was pretty wild. Yeah, it was pretty crazy, dude. It was pretty crazy. And then when I was at college as well, there was this area where a lot of students would just like stay awake all night and just like study and like fall asleep on these couches. So I left a blanket and pillows in my locker. So what I would do is I would just like bring girls from the club. I'm not kidding. I would literally bring girls from the club to my college because I would have class at 8 a.m. and I would have like exams or this presentation or whatever. And I would just hang out with them on this couch, grab my blankets and pillows, and I would just like fuck them under the blanket. Like there's like cameras and shit. But it was weird because these couches, they were kind of like secluded. Like they had this like, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like a netting like fence that kind of caused like a blind spot with the cameras. So I never had security kick me out. I never had any issues. It was pretty fucking wild, dude. But you guys got to understand, I was an absolute degenerate. Okay. I was like drinking. I was in party mode. Like I didn't give a fuck about consequences. I would fuck girls in the club bathroom. I would always tip the bathroom guy like $5. Here's $5. Pull the girls in the bathroom, smash girls in the bathroom. Or another thing too, is I would just like find like, it's fucking crazy, bro. I would always just like, I called it urban spelunking. I would just go to random fucking building infrastructure, like walking random hotels, walking random apartment complexes, and just find like random places to smash chicks, random hallways. Sometimes it would be like, like how a lot of condo buildings have like a community lounge area. I would just go chill there with chicks. And it felt like we were like chilling like this luxury penthouse, right? And then I would just like find a place that didn't have like a security camera and just smash, dude. So there's ways to do it if your game is good enough and if you're seductive enough. I argue I was better at it when I was younger because I had no other option, dude. Like I lived with my parents. Right. And my parents were strict. They were very Catholic and very strict, like brown parents. They were Indian as fuck. Right. And even sometimes, I used to like pull girls to my parents' house, but they lived like 2 hours away from the city. I would sneak them in the basement. But, my parents caught me a few times. I get really upset. My mom would I remember one time I was eating a chick out. Like I was really drunk. My mom starts like beating my ass. And I was like, oh God, this is so embarrassing. Right. So like, I just couldn't do that. So I had no other option. And then, just get your money up and move out. So what I did is I just found a place where I had cheap rent. It was a 2-bedroom condo. The rent was like $2,500 Canadian. That's not much. It's like 800 USD. And I just split it with 4 guys. We just turned a 2-bedroom into like a 4-person living space. I had a bed in the living room. We turned like our little den into an extra bedroom. So we essentially was like 3 bedrooms and a living room area. I was just living in the fucking living room. And I was just smashing girls there. Right? I was paying like fucking, I don't know, like 300 USD for rent or something. Like splitting it 4 ways. Right. So we made it work and made it work how I had to,
Yeah, for sure. Tips for building confidence around hot girls. I can pull in frequently, but I want to elevate to eights and tens. Also, I think I gotta build a network of friends. I'm like a solo player at the club. So let's just focus on the first part of the question. What would you say are some tips for building confidence around hot girls?
Yeah, so you get what you're entitled to. If you feel you're entitled to hot women, then they're going to feel comfortable with you. But the other thing too is, do you act like a guy that she would date? Because a lot of guys, they want hot, every guy wants hot girls, right? But you look at the way this, like, dude, I go to the club and guys approach my girls on the regular. So I had to build, I had to build like an in-house security team on my promoter team, just get rid of dudes and get them to fuck off out of our section because we have so many chicks, right? And you look at these guys, a lot of them dress like shit. They dress like bums. They don't look cool, right? They don't look cool at all. Okay. Think about a really attractive woman. Think about a really, really beautiful woman. What does her last three boyfriends look like? Or the last three guys she slept with? What type of men are they? Okay. You need to act and dress like those guys. Okay. So you need to dress the part, dress the style. Like you need to actually think what it's like to be this girl and what type of guy would she want to get with and hook up with or date. Okay. And those guys aren't random dudes that dress like shit or dress average. Those are guys that are taking care of themselves, look good, have some degree of status. So, yes, you're going to have easy confidence around really beautiful women when you naturally are that guy. So, become that guy. Become the guy that hot girls would want to be around. Okay. It's amazing that you can pull frequently. Any dude can pull some fat, ugly chick, some ratchet looking chick from fucking Miami South Beach. She's visiting from Atlanta. She's ratchet as fuck and she's bored and horny. You fuck her, you get chlamydia, right? Any guy can pull an average chick, right? But if you want to get eights, nines, and tens, those girls hang out in exclusive environments. Those women hang out in high value social circles. Okay. So you need to penetrate those high level social circles or find venues that have hot girls and make friends with the staff that would allow you access those venues that have hot girls. And yes, absolutely build a network of high status people and high status friends. So you guys just have access to higher quality women. Okay. Hot women want to be around high status guys. They want to be around average fucking losers. So, I mean, he kind of answers the question alone in the question. He said he's a solo player of the club. What fucking girl wants to be with the dude who's just on the dance floor with no access? He's just by himself. Okay. You might be a good looking dude. You might be a tall, good looking guy, but that doesn't mean the hottest girls are going to want to go home with you. And sometimes, you know, you might have that. Sometimes your game might be good enough to end up pulling that. But if you go to the club, you'll find the hottest women are in the back of the booth and in some VIP section, right? Dude, a couple months ago, I was in a table with G-Eazy. G-Eazy, the rapper, was in a table next to me. And just me, him, and like 12 of the blonde girls, okay? And we're like at the back of the club and the end of the fucking section and the end of the venue. There's security there, there's security here. Other people can't even get access to those chicks, right? The girls aren't paying attention to me. They're paying attention to G-Eazy. They all want his dick, right? And if they can't get him, they'll try to fuck his bodyguard or his best friend or whatever, right? So the whole point is you need to be the guy who's in that section with the hot girls, and those girls are fighting to be in that area. Okay. It's really interesting when you get into like this type of dominance hierarchy social circle game. It's very interesting because you'll just find women are just looking for value. They're just looking, where's the value? They're just scanning, where's the value? And they're gravitating towards men with value. Okay. And that doesn't necessarily mean money. Okay. But it does mean you have access to certain things, you have access to certain places or certain venues, right? You don't necessarily need to have a lot of money. Money definitely helps in places like Miami, but you know, this like red pill philosophy, oh, you have to be 6 foot tall or money or this or that or whatever. I mean, like I mentioned in the last question, dude, I had slept with over 100 women before I had fully moved into my parents' house. So like, you know, like, does money really matter that much? You know what I mean? I was 22 years old, barely making my bills. And, you know, like I had a hot girlfriend. I was traveling around the world, you know, fucking maxing out my credit card and didn't really have a lot of fucking money, dude. You know, I was
I
broke.
don't think money is super important either.
But
My
the
answer,
value, the experiences you give girls is the most important, right? The emotions she's feeling is the most important.
my answer to this would be that the reason you don't feel confident around the hot girls is because you put them on a pedestal mentally, most likely subconsciously. And if you can desensitize yourself to being around hot girls, then you'll eventually stop doing it. Like eventually there was probably a point where you were nervous around sixes, right? When you first started. and then you hooked up with a 6, and then you stopped being nervous around 6, and then you started being nervous around 7s, and then you hooked up with a 7. It's the same thing, right? It's just kind of like just you just gotta desensitize yourself to being around the hot girls, and then you'll be more confident around them. Simple thoughts of that. Here we have a totally different question. What are Justin's thoughts on David Bond getting a girl pregnant and having a son?
You know, David's a good friend of mine. He's been a nothing but a positive influence in my life. Like being friends with David positively impacted my life. I have nothing bad to say about the guy. He's a great dude. He's a genuine guy. He's a really nice guy. He's very intelligent. He's one of the smartest people I fucking know. Me and Austin are actually both friends with him. When Austin was here in Toronto, we were kind of pointing out that Austin kind of mentioned something about David. He's like, no one hates work more than David. But funny enough, David has more money than most people you know, right? He's very successful, right? And I'm happy for him, dude. I mean, dude, David's turning fucking, I think he's like 40 this year, right? He's a 40-year-old man who wants to have a kid. Okay. I'm happy for him.
Oh, he wanted to have the kid? I didn't know
dude,
that.
Of course you want to have a kid. It was an accident. You want to have a kid, dude. Bro, I think most guys, you know, when they reach a certain age and they're like, fuck, I want to have a kid. Like a lot of guys, they want to leave a legacy. You know, most guys, they reach a certain age or a certain level in life and they're like, okay, well, you know, I travel the whole world. You know, look at David, dude. He's lived a fucking life of legends. He's friends with billionaires, literally. Okay. He's friends with massive influencers. He's built a massive social media audience. He became famous. He became infamous. He became famous again. He made a lot of fucking money. And he traveled the whole world, and he did that for fucking over a decade. I mean, at some point, you know, he just wants to have a more stable life, and you know.
Oh yeah,
me and David talk all the time. He's a good dude. He's a really nice guy.
Quick question on that: did he make most of his money from crypto, or was it from his businesses?
I'm not too sure. I know one thing about David, dude. He's shockingly smart. Okay, like I don't know how the fuck he thinks the way he thinks. He maybe just has a super high IQ. He thinks extremely different than the average guy. Let's just put it that way. He thinks extremely different than, you know, you or me. He doesn't think linearly. He thinks very creatively and different. I don't know where he made most of his money, but I mean, he had a very successful career with OnlyFans. He had a very successful career with YouTube. He had a very successful career with like everything he's done. Right? He was very successful with coaching. You know, I mean, he's actually one of the guys that actually got me back into crypto. Funny enough, like I'd got exit scammed in like 2018 or something like that, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna stay away from crypto. And he kind of got me back into Bitcoin, and I started learning a lot about it.
Yeah, I got scammed.
I became a Bitcoin maxi, and I honestly have like partly David to thank for that. You know, he's a really good dude, very very solid guy.
Yeah, he seems like a good dude. He stayed at my place for a night when he was visiting Miami. I remember we went for a walk, and because I had to walk my dog, and he was like trying to convince me to come to Colombia, and I was like, dude, you got some good points, but
you know the other thing about David, he's also just like a very normal guy. I think people like look at him, they pedestalize.
Yeah, he's very
him,
chill.
He's a very normal guy. Like he's just a normal dude. He's just a cool normal dude. He's just very fucking smart and very successful.
You know? Yeah, for sure. Is he still in Colombia, or where is he right now?
I don't know, dude. He like bound. He's all over. He's not in Colombia. I think he's in Asia.
Oh, yeah. He is? Okay. Oh yeah.
He's doing good, man. He's living a very private life now, and he's very happy, and you know, I'm happy for him.
Is he still doing like the whole harem thing, or did he settle down with a girl?
I honestly can't keep up with him, but I know at one point he had like 2 girlfriends or 3 girlfriends, or like a couple girlfriends and an assistant, and like all kind of living together. And he, like I mentioned, dude, he's very, very out of the box thinking. But you know, I don't know. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure about that to answer that specific question.
Yeah, I'll have to. I
know he's got like a main girl. He definitely has like a main girl that he's seeing and dating.
Yeah, I'm gonna invite him to the next Monday podcast. I keep always forgetting. All right, let's do like 1 or 2 more questions. Are attractive girls genuinely hard to get, or do guys act differently around them because of their looks? Which that's interesting. That's a very interesting question. We might. I don't know if we're gonna agree to disagree on this.
I actually think hotter girls are easier to get, in my opinion. If you're just like a normal dude, like I feel like hotter girls, they just disqualify guys. They're looking for red flags of like, okay, this guy's socially retarded. I'm just gonna not fuck with him. Right. It's kind of weird. I find like more average chicks are actually harder to get because hotter girls are better socialized. They're more used to hot guys approaching them. They're more used to all kinds of guys talk to them. So I actually find a lot of attractive women are easier to get if you are a well-developed man.
That's interesting. I find it to be about the same. I think that the reason a lot of guys find them more difficult is because they put them on a pedestal, and that causes them to take less social risks. That causes them not to be as confident. not to be as charismatic because they're playing not to lose instead of playing to win. But from my experience, it's about the same. Like a girl's a
Yeah.
girl. Like a 6 is not radically different than a 9. It might be harder. They might be more dismissive on the street, but once you get outside of like cold approaching her on the street, like let's say, or a club or something like that, like you meet her through friends or you meet her at an event or whatever, she's just going to be at the same level of difficulty as like a 6, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I actually do agree with that as well, Alex. Like most guys just pedestalize really hot chicks. Like they don't know how to act and behave around really pretty women. And so that's kind of where most guys kind of fail. Because again, those women are going to disqualify you for acting weird and acting socially unaware.
Right. What is value? How do you develop it and how do you use it? Okay, so value is when you're providing something the other person wants, basically. But I'll let you take it away.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you did start off answering that question very accurately. Value is subjective. Value is, what does this girl perceive as value? Okay. Value isn't a black or white concept. Okay. One girl can look at you and the value you have to offer and think, oh, I don't want that. Another girl can think, holy fuck, this is the coolest guy I ever met in my life. Okay. There's some girls that would look at me like I'm an influencer, club promoter, dating coach, and they'd be like, fuck, this guy's a red flag. I'm not talking to this guy, block. Other women would look at me and be like, this guy is my dream guy. He's perfect. I love everything about him. Okay. It's really interesting how that works. I had a party. I mentioned I had a party with Sway Lee at my house, and me and my team were running around trying to get more girls to come to the party because we're like, fuck, we're going to have this like rapper at my crib. And some girls didn't give a fuck. Some girls like, oh, I don't care. Fuck Sway Lee. I don't give a fuck about him. Who's Sway Lee? Right? Some girls like, holy shit, Sway Lee's gonna be at your house. I need to be there. Okay. 2 of the girls end up showing up, end up having a threesome with him. Okay. All the girls that were at the party wanted his dick and wanted to fuck him just because he was a famous rapper. And there's a lot of girls that didn't care to come to the party. There's a lot of girls that were like, don't really care. Then I also had a lot of girls that had FOMO from the party being like, fuck, I wish I was there. That's so cool that Sway Lee was at the party. I wish I came. So value is a very subjective concept. Value is finding people's incentives and giving it to them. Okay. That's what value is. You want to find out what her incentive is and give her or be able to have and possess what she desires. Okay. That's the best way I could describe value. Okay. But, doing it in a way to try to get something is the wrong way to do it. You just want to be a man that develops lots of skills and value to give to people and just be someone who's just giving it naturally.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good answer. All right, we just flew through all the questions. Austin ditched us, which I'll give him a thorough talking to about that later. But yeah, Justin, thanks for coming on, buddy. Where can people find you or contact you or whatever?
Awesome, dude. Thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah,
so I have a big YouTube channel on YouTube. I have 135,000 subscribers and over 2,000 videos. Search up Justin Marc, M-A-R-C, on YouTube. You can see my channel. Highly recommend you subscribe. I have over 2,000 videos just like this one that we did. Tons of content. I think I actually have some videos with you, Alex, from years ago on my channel as well. Right. Then I have an Instagram page with 780,000 followers where I'm always just kind of showing my lifestyle. Like I don't just talk the talk. I actually live this life fully. I don't get enough time to actually do podcasts like this. I'm too busy living the life. That's Drunk Justin 2 on Instagram. You can search up Drunk Justin on Instagram. You'll find my Instagram page. And you guys can also book a free call with me at justinmarc.com.
You got to change that to Sober Justin now.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, thanks for having me, Alex. Guys, thanks for being here. And it was great to be back on and playing with fire.
Yeah, dude, it was a pleasure. Thanks for coming on so much. Appreciate it. Absolutely, all right, guys. Man. We'll see you next Monday.
See you guys soon.